Hello there, guys. Welcome back to Younes Talks Football. I hope all of you are doing well. Back in now familiar surroundings. I was obviously back at home, which were the old familiar surroundings, and now you guys have gotten used to this. This is the new familiar surroundings. We back, we locked in, ready to get back to the normal routine. So make sure you guys are subscribed, notification bell on, and on top of that, not only are we kicking things off as normal now that club football has returned and in the international break is over on here, but on Shootout as well, you're going to want to go and look at the links that I've posted here. Go and look at every single one. So yesterday we done the watch along and we did put out a highlights of video from that watch along. Nottingham Forest 0, Chelsea 3. And we also did Liverpool Manchester United tonight, where Harry Maguire of all footballers has managed to come in clutch to get United a winner at Anfield. Go and look at the watch-along highlights as well here, where you get mine and George's reaction. Subscribe over there. We've got new things coming over there too. You're not going to want to miss it. Make sure you're subscribed on both channels. Let's get this bad boy back on the road. And obviously here, we focus with Chelsea mainly. So, what's the latest? Well, I think for the first time in a while, I get to actually come on and say, guys, I've got some really good news to go over. So, without further ado, let's jump right in. And obviously later on, we're going to talk about Ange, because things have come out in terms of what happened as soon as Chelsea beat Forest yesterday. What happened when Ange went down the tunnel? We got details. So, stay till the end. Let's start off at Chelsea though. We're moving things in a direction that I think deep down we all wanted for a while. And now hopefully it means some things are clicking and we're sorting out some issues that I think most of the fan base has a problem with. Is this going to be the solution? Let's get into it. Here's David Ornstein. Chelsea in talks to appoint Dave Fallows to senior sporting leadership role. Ex-Liverpool director left Liverpool last October, likely to join Chelsea to work with existing execs on areas including scouting, player pathways, football development. We also have Fabrizio Romano. Chelsea are closing in on the appointment of former Liverpool director of scouting Dave Fallows. Senior role ready for Fallows, as he's going to be part of the current structure including Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields and Sam Gill. Now, why is this a good thing? The one thing that pops into fans' minds immediately, and I hear it and I understand it and I sympathize with it, is there's too many cooks in the kitchen. I've seen this phrase throughout the online space since last night when this news came out. And what I want to say is, yes, I agree. I think there are too many cooks in the kitchen. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't do this. The logical thing to do would to do this, and I'll explain why this is a good thing. But to look at the others and go, okay, who's not fit for purpose here? I would look at the others and go, we need to trim there. We don't need to trim by not getting this guy in, because there's some people that are going, there's too many cooks in the kitchen, don't do this. This guy has the potential of being the best man in the business throughout the entire leadership structure that we have of all the names that I just read out. If you're talking Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart, Joe Shields, Sam Gill, and you add Dave Fallows has the, well, not even the potential. I think even in terms of record, he's the number one guy here. He's clearly the number one guy. This is why I saw this and I was like, oh my God, finally, we're getting someone of substance. You know, not too long ago, we were talking about Michael Edwards and possibly bringing in Michael Edwards as a sporting director, as a head of sport or whatever, you know, like he's gone to FSG and he has that role at FSG. You'd think, okay, Michael Edwards can come in and do something similar for Blueco. But he went back to Liverpool and, he went to FSG, right? So with this, Dave Fallows, have you seen his job at Liverpool? Now, what is his job, firstly? Don't expect him to come in as a sporting director. He's not a sporting director. He never was, right? But we have one issue, main issue, when it comes to Paul Winstanley, Lawrence Stewart. I don't so much say Joe Shields or even Sam Gills. Sam Gills not been at Chelsea for long. But Joe Shields, to be fair, the players that he's managed to bring through, or the players he's been linked with, part of the group that we've managed to bring in, includes like Cole Palmer, includes some really good young talent that we've got in. There's players that we have brought in that he has history with. You can piece it together and go, okay. There's one, though, in particular, which is not so okay right now. And I think it's mainly because of the price tag. And who is that? That's Jamie Gittins, right? Realistically, we shouldn't have spent 55 million on Jamie Gittins. Let's be honest. But that doesn't mean that Jamie Gittins is a horrendous footballer. No, he's not. He's just raw. But you don't get raw for 55. That's just being truthful. You get raw for 20. 25. And you go, okay, we want to spend that, but he's someone that we're going to take our time with. Okay, cool, no problem. Margue, no one's got a problem with because we didn't pay 55 million for Margue. But Margue, who's raw, now getting some opportunity, and we're like, oh, see, there's something about him. He's not ready, but there's something there, and it's like we can work with this. Let's move forward. His game against Forest, he was class. Game against Liverpool, he was class. Margue moving like Diego Costa in terms of style. I'm not saying he is Diego Costa. Don't misinterpret. That's one thing. Do not misinterpret things on here, by the way. Yeah? I'll give you one example. And I have to mention this because this is important for you guys, not just me. This is important for you guys. Make sure you understand the full context of what is being said before you actually comment in the comment section, please. Because for the preview of Nottingham Forest Chelsea, I told you guys, firstly, before I even started speaking, that I was pre-recording and I didn't get to hear Enzo Maresca press conference because that was going to come the following day whilst I was going to be up in the air flying back here. So I couldn't do a preview after the press conference. I said that, then gave you my 11 without knowing the team news because I said I didn't know the team news. I told you guys this. And then I got people in the comments going, oh, he's injured. What are you saying? Did you not see the press conference? I'm like, did you watch the video, brother? Like, please, make sure you have some common sense about you. Please, yeah? Not everyone. Most people obviously are fine. But for the few of you that struggle, please wait until the end to comment. That would be great. So don't misinterpret. With this, a Margue, his style, stylistically, his instinct is there. But he needs time. He's not an elite striker. We know this. But can he get there? Yes, he can. He can. But he's not going to get there tomorrow. So you could argue that the players that we've identified under Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart has been the issue. The recruitment identity has been the issue. Well, what does Dave Fallows do? What's his job? Let me show you. And I think you're going to like this because it looks like that problem might have just been identified and maybe we've got ourselves a solution. Maybe the club understand that there's been an issue with recruitment and we're now bringing someone in who's just going to take charge of that. Here's Dave Fallows. Dave Fallows' responsibilities at Chelsea would be expected to include scouting, player pathways, and football development. He oversaw the signings of crucial modern Liverpool figures such as Firmino, Sadio Mane, Mohamed Salah, Andy Robertson, and Alisson. Now, he was brought in under Brendan Rodgers. So he was at Liverpool for 10 years. Yeah, since 2014 until 2024, Dave Fallows was basically scouting director. Scouting director, right? Director of scouting, as his formal title. In those 10 years, we saw the team that was assembled because straight after that, 1 year later, Jurgen Klopp was appointed. That strikes me as something similar to what Roman did at Chelsea in 2004, 10 years before Liverpool here. What did Roman do? Roman came in, first thing, go and get Peter Kenyon from Man United as our new director. And he's going to take charge of transfers, identifying players, working with the manager. Now, the structure of football clubs was different back then. Back then, owner, director, manager, done. That's it, finished. Don't need anything else. That was how football was, because the decisions were made between the manager, mainly the manager, but the director in charge on the same page. They go and do the business. The director does the business. The manager asks, I want that player, that player, that player, that player. Director goes, okay, I'm going to go and negotiate. I want this. Gets the deals done. Here you go, sir. Here's your players. That's how it was. That was it. Very, very simple. Football's moved on from that. Football's not like that anymore. And for anyone that is still operating that way, I'm not against it, but you will be caught out eventually. Because football has moved in a completely different way. Every other team now is starting to move into a more modern aspect, right? Into a more modern direction. That's just how it is. Liverpool had Dave Fallows, head of scouting, director of scouting, identifying the players, got in Jurgen Klopp, all of a sudden, boom, boom, boom. And they built a hell of a spine. You saw the players that I've just read out. Bringing in Firmino, bringing in Mane, bringing in Mo Salah, bringing in Robertson, bringing in Alisson. Tell me that's not the spine of Liverpool, basically. Well, all bar maybe Henderson. Henderson was a big part of that midfield. Tell me that's not the spine that basically went a good part of 7-8 years of running things for Liverpool. Now, you could argue they didn't win much. They won every trophy, but they only done it once. They won every single trophy once, basically, with Jurgen Klopp. You could argue they were going up against Pep Guardiola's Man City, who were at their absolute peak, right? But they still done a phenomenal job. Those players were all still elite players. And that was all the work of Dave Fallows. So that's what we're bringing to Chelsea right now, which is in stark contrast to what you could argue the job that Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart have done in terms of identifying players. Now, how about if we take off that responsibility from them and go, here you go, you're going to be running this because clearly you are the expert in that. You could argue, well, why don't just make him the sporting director then? Yeah, we can have a conversation on that. Because then what is the job of Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart? But this is what I'm saying. Modern football has gone in a direction now of everything is going to be split. And everyone's going to be an expert in their niche. And the sporting director no longer has to do 6-7 jobs all at once. It's all split. Many clubs are starting to adapt that sort of model. Chelsea, though, here, according to the Telegraph, is what Chelsea, and specifically Bedadik Bali, is wanting from Dave Fallows. Here it is. Dave Fallows, the celebrated former Liverpool recruitment expert, is set to take up a similar senior role at Chelsea. He has been approached by Bedadik Bali and his fellow investors to join a well-resourced recruitment team at Stamford Bridge. He is expected to have a range of duties, including scouting and data, player development pathways and loans, and football operations. The latter is expected to include recruitment of coaches and staff as well as players. Now, if there's anything to go by, and Dave Fallows comes into Chelsea to be able to identify even coaches. Now, I'm not saying anything about Enzo Maresca at the moment, because Enzo Maresca right now is absolutely cool. Absolutely cool. Keep running things with him. I've got no issue with Enzo. Yeah? But when you have Dave Fallows, who was basically part, or if not responsible, for bringing in someone like Jurgen Klopp, and you saw what the job that happened at Liverpool for a good part of a decade, then I think we've got someone here that we're going to be in very good hands with. Very good. This is the sort of level of staff that you need at a club like Chelsea Football Club. At Chelsea, you need someone of this stature. We talk about bringing people in from Brighton and bringing people in from these slightly lower clubs. Well, when we actually go and get someone that done it at Liverpool, and the track record is there to see what Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool done and the players that were brought in and how it was all done, we're bringing that sort of person in. That's why I say it reminds me of the work that Peter Kenyon did at United under Alex Ferguson, and bringing that person into Chelsea for us to go on an absolute rampage under Roman. This is reminiscent of that. It feels like finally we have gone and identified someone of an elite level. I'm more than happy to have Dave Fallows at Chelsea here. This is a fantastic appointment. Fantastic. Like I say, though, hopefully this is going to sort the issue of recruitment. And if we leave it in the hands of Dave Fallows, we might start seeing better business going forward for a club like Chelsea. And look, this person is very, very, very well thought of when it comes to data. Data-driven aspects, he was a key figurehead at Liverpool for identifying players with data, and it came through the players like of the ones that I've just listed for you. At Chelsea, I think he's going to fit in very well. But let's see how it's going to move forward when we talk about bringing in players of certain abilities and certain levels, even if it means that we might have to pay a little bit more in salary, even if it means identifying someone who is slightly above 25. Do you see these little rules that we have in place at Chelsea Football Club? Is Dave Fallows going to come in and maybe break the mold a little bit because he knows exactly what's required to operate at the highest level? I'm curious. But one thing's for sure, the man knows how to identify quality and bring in top quality that's going to come in and become world beaters for you. So Dave Fallows, if you are coming to Chelsea right now, which it looks like it's imminent, welcome to Chelsea, my friend. We're more than happy to have you. But what does this mean for the other guys? What does this mean for Paul Winstanley and Lawrence Stewart specifically? What is going to be their roles when you take recruitment away from them? I'm curious. Maybe. This is just me thinking off the top of my head. Maybe Chelsea are even thinking, you know what? This is going to be a very good plan, just in case if changes do need to be made, just in case we're not convinced of how things are going after now a few seasons. Maybe someone like Dave Fallows is someone we can turn to in future and go, you know what, sir? You're promoted. You're now sporting director. Who knows? So let's wait and see, because there is one thing, like I say, I sympathise with, and that is that there's a lot of names in this group. There are a lot of cooks in this kitchen, you know. So let's see how it all goes down. But the one issue that we needed to sort out, and it was recruitment properly, we're getting just a man. So hopefully that all means very good things moving forward from the next transfer window onwards. Let's see. Now, let me know your thoughts down below on this very, very interesting story. Now, Enzo Maresca. Fabrizio's got an update. Here it is. Enzo Maresca keeps doing an important job for Chelsea. Club very happy with their manager and their players. And I don't think we've got much of an issue with that, to be fair, right now. We're getting results. Things are looking good. Even with restrictions, even with, the injuries and lack of availability of some players and all of that. These are the moments where you normally see Chelsea slip up. Well, we got a fantastic result by beating Liverpool, and we've gone and beaten Forest after a poor first half with a fantastic second half. Despite having players like Josh Achampong on the pitch, bringing on players like Mark Gu, doing all this, we saw differences. Even Gittins, we saw differences. So it's working right now. Things are looking on track. Let's see how it's all going to pan out, because after today and what United did at Anfield, I do think that we are in for one hell of a season. I think this season is going to be a hell of an unpredictable season now. I think no one's going to be really able to call it. So let me know your thoughts on that one. Now let's jump to Ange as we wrap up. What happened? Because on the watch long, you can go and see on Shootout, we reacted. We could see what was going on. Marinakis left his seat. All of a sudden, Ange's face is on camera and we're like, he's about to get sacked. Marinakis is off to print his P45 right now. But at minute 70, he left and we're like, he's gone. That's it. It's over. Decision's made. And turns out, as soon as the full-time whistle, yes, that is exactly what happened. Well, we got more details. So, here it is. So, the Touchline have said a complete breakdown of how Ange Postecoglou was sacked by Forest yesterday, as per The Athletic. He was informed he has been sacked within roughly 10 minutes of the final whistle at the City Ground during a brief conversation with George Sirianos, the global technical director in the tunnel area. So that's one thing, by the way. He was, in fact, sacked in the tunnel. George got that one right, because he did say that there was going to be a sacking in the tunnel. Well, there you go. His last act was to return to the locker room one final time to share a few words with his players. He told them he was sorry, he could not do more for them, and wished them all the best for the rest of the campaign. He then walked to his car alone and left. He did not even do the post-match press conference. But yeah, Didn't have to. He's sacked. You don't need to do media duties once you're sacked. There's no point. Marinakis himself had left the City ground roughly an hour before, opting to depart when Chelsea took a 2-0 lead almost immediately after the break. And that is, what we saw on the screen during the game when we did get the reaction. We did see the seat empty. We're like, oh my God, he's out of here. I think what happened, Marinakis got on the phone, or maybe not even the phone. He's just in the ground, like inside, just going in his office, just like, I've had enough. Sack him. And the decision is made. That's it. End of the game. Ange was gone. Forest need to get their act together. Now, we've seen the names that they've been linked with. As of today, they were linked with Sean Dyche, they were linked with Marco Silva, and they were linked with Roberto Mancini. Now, as of about an hour ago, the latest did come out that talks with Mancini, despite talks being had broken down, and Mancini will not be joining Nottingham Forest. When I saw the names earlier on, I saw Mancini, I was like, you know what? They might actually pull this out of the bag. They might have actually just saved their skin. If you get rid of Ange and you bring in Mancini, fair play. For Forest, that's a really good appointment. That's gone. So, Sean Dyche it is. Basically, Sean Dyche it is. And that just goes to show the entire flipping appointment of Ange and getting rid of Nuno in the first place was just wrong. Because if you're sacking Nuno and you bring in Ange, a complete 180, you need to be willing to give it the time that requires what Ange needs to work out. Because it's a complete different brand of football. It's a complete 180. It's a complete transformation. 39 days this brother was at Nottingham Forest. For 39 days and he gets sacked. You're not going to get Ange to implement everything he wants in 39 days. You just can't. So why appointment in the first place if you're not willing from the get-go to give him what he needs to make it work? Why sack Nuno then? Doesn't make any sense. Well, now Forest are in a situation. They cannot get Mancini. That's broken down. Well, at this point, it just looks like the owner is just being completely unrealistic. Completely unrealistic. And this is going to send Nottingham Forest back down to the bottom half of the table. And keep them there. When they had everything on a plate to be able to start competing for European places properly. Man. It's a shame. It's a shame. Because Nottingham Forest historically are a huge club. 2-time Champions League winners, back-to-back, or European Cup at the time. And it's something where last season we actually started thinking, you know what? Have Nottingham Forest been finally brought back to the level that they've not seen in decades? Well, it's not going to last, is it? It's over already. So, let me know your thoughts down below. What do you think of Marinakis? And what do you think of this whole situation? And what would you do if you were Marinakis right now? Let me know down below. Much appreciated. I will catch all of you tomorrow for brand new upload, maybe 2, depending on what happens. We do have club football back and up and running. So, make sure you guys are here for all the content as it drops. Subscribe to Shootout as well. Link in the description, like I've said. And I'll catch all of you tomorrow. Have a good one, people. Look after yourselves. Take care. And peace.